I'm Justin.
And I'm Blake.
And this is the How Do You Figure podcast. Blake, who was our guest this week?
Justin, we are joined again by Mike Carlson of Podcast The Ride.
Mike Carlson, did you get any toys this week?
Yes, I did. I received in the mail what we're going to talk about today, the Turtles musical Mutagen San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. I got, thanks to you, Justin, the Casey Jones and Foot Soldier 2-pack from NECA. And because I'm such a mark for the Age of Apocalypse, I have Dark Beast Marvel Legends.
Oh.
Which is just, and I got a little bit into Marvel Legends during quarantine. This thing is so, excuse my swearing, goddamn good. You've seen this in person?
Yes, I have been waiting for you to get into Marvel Legends because I thought it was any time now. And
yes,
I
it is.
It was the next logical progression. So the fact that we're now here, this is very exciting.
Well, I bought a few of the Age of Apocalypses. There were a couple sales in the quarantine that I couldn't help but grab, which again, I may sell all these at the end when we're back in the real world. And
yeah, most of the Age of Apocalypse figures, other than the Beast, you can now get at Walmart for around $10.
Oh, wow, they're all on discount?
Yeah, they're clearancing them out.
Interesting. That's not available to me. I think I purchased them at like a $17 on deep discount.
Which is still amazing. $17 for that figure is great.
Yeah. So there have been some quick deals I've snagged. I grabbed the Alpha Flight 6-pack a couple weeks ago for $60, which was an Amazon sale. What else did I grab? The Hulk Wolverine.
I can tell you, I also got this week.
That's good.
I absolutely love these.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Blake, you were going to say, this is the Green Goblin, the Spider-Man Retro Green Goblin for the people listening to the audio version.
I'm still waiting for all of my pre-order ones to come because I don't like leaving my apartment.
I randomly found this lone Green Goblin when I was out looking for turtle packs.
Wow, great. Yeah, the Marvel Legends are great. It's really dangerous because obviously so many of the older ones are very expensive now, and a lot of those, classic X-Men I really would like. The other dangerous thing coming up is that Sentinel, which I shouldn't buy. I don't have the money for that, but it's so good, and it's like over 2 feet tall.
Yeah,
we know a stunning amount of people who have bought that for a economic crash that we're going through.
Well, look, I don't know when this is coming out. Supposedly there are rumors that Trump is putting the $600 back on the table this weekend. So
I hope so, because I really want the rest of these Spider-Man figures. And I cannot justify buying them unless that 600 rolls in.
I would love to help stimulate the economy by giving it to the HasLab to get the... Here's the thing I'll say, though. The thing that would really cinch that Sentinel is because it comes with a master mold head. If they would just have added the chair, it would have been a slam dunk. Now, I'm sure somebody will custom make the chair, but if I was waiting for the chair to be unlocked, because what of course they do is they have tiers when they pass a certain amount of people investing, then they show you, we got the Bastion figure. We have the female Bastion figure. But I wanted that chair.
The problem with something like the chair, though, is then you got these maniacs who are buying like 10 Sentinels. What are they going to do with 10 chairs?
I understand that. Issue. There has to be a solution, though. There has to be a solution to giving me a master mold chair. That's all I'm saying. I don't have the answers, but there has to be an answer.
You just wait. Just wait. Eventually, we're at 20 years of Marvel Legends, and slowly we're getting literally everything that I have ever wanted. So eventually I feel like that master mold chair has got to come out. You just got to wait.
Do you think it'll just be a chair by itself or a specific master mold?
Yeah, like that definitely, I could see like a specific master mold like coming out eventually.
Right.
Wouldn't it be, technically it should be a little bit bigger than the Sentinel, right?
Yes. Master Mold is bigger than the Sentinel. I believe Jonathan Hickman just introduced the Mother Mold recently.
Well, there you go. You need that too.
So you need that as well. But I don't need. Look, I have no room in here, and there's no job prospects during this quarantine. And Podcast Rise doing well, but not House in Los Angeles well yet. So we'll see what happens. I'm not sure.
But in the meantime, you're going to keep buying the NECA turtles. You're all in on those, even though you're still not sure what you're doing with the Legends. Yes,
I'm flirting with the Legends, more than flirting. But yes, I'm not all. I can't go all in on the Legends now. It's too many years I haven't gotten them.
No one can.
Yeah,
like I've been buying the Legends for 20 years, and I don't have all of them.
I'm excited about that Hellfire Club set, though.
That is a good set. I'm not buying any X-Men. I've stopped with the X-Men. It's been very difficult, but financially I cannot do it. I'm hoping that eventually they'll either re-release or do like a big box set of the Jim Lee X-Men, so I'll be able to pick them all up at once after we're all able to return to work.
Sure, yes. That would be great.
Yeah, I'm not tempted by the Hellfire Club because I haven't picked up any X-Men in the last, like, maybe 10 years. Strife was the last one I picked up.
Strife's great.
That's when I had, like, I had TV money when that wave with Strife came out, so it was like, screw it. I'll buy literally anything.
Yeah, that's... in my dream they do more Age of Apocalypse waves.
Yeah,
and maybe
there's another wave coming.
Is that confirmed?
I think so. Yeah.
Do we know who's in it?
Deluxe Apocalypse coming.
No. I know that. I've seen that. I don't have him yet, but I need a Rogue.
These aren't exactly flying off the shelves. The Age of Apocalypse books, as much as I love them. It was a bit of a gamble. I don't know if it paid off. And that may have something to do with the fact that people aren't just casually in stores. Like, I hadn't gone into a store for months until I went out looking for the turtles.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of people that if they see the Age of Apocalypse figures in person, they pick them up, but people aren't necessarily out there.
We just need we need Gambit and Rogue. We need the Magneto. We need. I'm trying to think. There's a handful of others.
The Magneto seems like a no-brainer. I bet they'll figure out a way to get that out.
Yeah, because in Blink, I did buy Blink as well, but she was in a different wave.
I like the Morph a lot.
Yeah, I do. I like the Morph too. A lot of people hoping the Morph, classic Morph, would be with the Sentinel, with the HasLab Sentinel.
That would
be sense. You can't have it all.
I know. I disagree. I'm starting to think we can have it all, though. This is the problem. The NECA Turtles.
Yeah, Justin, I'm with Mike here. We can 100% have it all because we are getting some of the wackiest, craziest things from
NECA.
I guess that's true. It was just a week ago that we were here on this very podcast lamenting that we had given up and we would not find the NECA Turtles.
Well, no, Justin, you have to understand. They went offline immediately.
We all are with them. All three of us managed to get them this week, one way or another.
I don't believe this exists. I don't believe this is in my hands. I still cannot believe it.
I knew it. I knew they would make these.
I mean, I started to think it was possible, but I still this changes just. This is like aliens being discovered as far as changing my reality, changing what I think is possible.
Now, you've bought in all the NECA Turtles, correct?
Well, okay. So here's the situation. I early on when they were going to do the cartoon releases, I said, okay, I'm going to buy the quarter scale Raphael from the movie and the quarter scale Shredder, and that'll be it for the movie. I'll just buy those two. I really like how big they are, and then I'll just buy the cartoon. But now that they've done Toka and Razor, who are going to be 7 inches and 8 inches, I think. Don't I need the movie Turtles as well to contrast with the live action monsters. I don't need it, but if we're going to get, again, this is opening it up. I understand they're very popular, but if we're going to get Kino, if we're going to get Tatsu, which I want both those characters, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to have the full movie set too. So yes, I am all in at this point, and it might truly be all in. The only thing I'm probably not going to do is get every single video game release. I have the Slash Turtles in Time, but I don't love the video game stuff as much.
See, I'm the other way. I want all the video game stuff, and I think my animated Turtles will probably slow down for those, because that's Turtles in Time game was a cornerstone of my life for much longer than I'd like to admit.
Sure, and I'm not saying today. Look, I have the Loot Crate pre-ordered, which has Bebop and Rocksteady and bunny suits from the cartoon. But Randy just teased from NECA that they're going to do Pirate Bebop and Rocksteady from the video game. And I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with 3 different variants of Bebop and Rocksteady. But how would I turn down Pirate Bebop and Rocksteady?
It's impossible.
See, that's what I want. Like, I want stuff like the variants of Bebop and Rocksteady. Like, I have passed on all of the other NECA Turtle 4-packs, or the packs of the actual 4 turtles. I didn't get the cartoon Turtles. I didn't get the movie Turtles. I didn't get the video game Turtles. I was holding out for my Turtles, who are the coming out of your shells tour Turtles.
I get that. I understand that a lot. I just am such a turtle and insane person that I have to have all of them, I think. But I guess the video game, which I have a lot of affection for too, there's just a little something about the paint I don't find as satisfying. It doesn't immediately read Turtles in Time to me.
We should get into Super 7 a little bit too. So for people who, there are definitely people listening who don't know all the ins and outs of the turtle world like we do.
Yeah.
So you have multiple companies making Ninja Turtle figures right now. Mm-hmm. You have Playmates, who owns the Master Toy license, that's making them for kids. And then you have 2 collector-based lines making them. You have Super 7 for collectors. You have NECA for collectors. Mm-hmm. NECA is making the movie, video game, cartoon, and touring show Turtles. And
and more.
7, and more. Who knows what else? Hopefully Archie Comics. We'll get to that.
That's my
and then Super 7 is making collector figures that are based off the old figure line from the 90s.
And more, supposedly.
And more, yeah. Who knows?
That's what they've alluded to.
What are you doing, Mike, with Super 7?
Well, okay. I'm sure a lot of collectors, toy people can relate to this. I end up buying a lot. Stuff sits, too. And then after maybe 6 months or a year, I go, well, am I ever really going to put this out or I can use this? And then I will just put it on eBay or something. Or like, so what I've done is, because I'm such an insane turtle person, I have all the sets pre-ordered for Super 7. Super 7 has released shown you 3 of the 4 figure waves, which have the 3 turtles, Raphael, Michelangelo's the newest one, and then Leonardo. And then I should know it all off the top of my head. I probably could pull it out. They've Splinter, Shredder, and then a couple fun ones like Mutagen Man and Bebop and Rocksteady. So I have all those pre-ordered. I don't know if NECA keeps up with the pace of what they're doing and the type of stuff they're doing. I don't know, other than having a house, how in the hell I could show all this stuff off. I also don't know, maybe when I finally see them, if they're going to be more satisfying than going to just dig downstairs and get my old stuff out of storage. I'm sure they'll be very cool because they're taller and more dynamic, but still. So I have them pre-ordered. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. A big thing, though, that Super 7 could do to convince a freak like me is they could give me a hint of where they're going. That is going to also probably shape my my opinion or what I'm thinking I'm going to do with them. Because if they say, and they've also, look, Pixel Dan has done an interview with Brian Flynn, and he's talked about the Archie comic Turtles and also asked him if he's planning on doing stuff that wasn't in the Playmates line. And he alluded to, yes, we actually have the Archie license, which I don't know if they need that to do it. They might. So they could make Archie stuff. And he also said he's going to make other things. So Super 7 was like, you know what? In 3 years, we are planning to have Cuddly the Cowlick, the disembodied cowhead that would eat the turtles and transport them to the intergalactic wrestling show they used to go to in the Archie comics. Now, Super 7's got me on the hook, and I'm probably not selling those turtles because I want those all to be in the same scale and the same style. So I don't know. I'm just saying I'm in a holding period with Super 7. I like the look of all that stuff, but all this stuff is a little bit, the NECA stuff is obviously a little fresher because it's stuff that we didn't get when we were kids, and the look and the style and in the musical and the touring turtles. So
yeah, I haven't bought anything from Super 7. The closest I am to buying something from them is the Mutagen Man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I wish the line, and this is just me personally, I'm sure if the line had gone in this direction, people wouldn't have been happy about it. But if instead of just doing the straight up regular versions of the Turtles, they had started with wackier versions of the Turtles. Mm-hmm. If they had started with like the sports Turtles,
rock and roll Turtles would
the rock and roll Turtles.
I want the Universal Horror Turtles.
Yeah, great.
Right. If they had started, and they have the Universal Horror license, or they did, if they had started with something wackier like that, I would have probably been in at Super 7. But at this point, like, it needs to be something like the Touring Turtles or something like the animated figures where we haven't gotten that version before to get me really excited. If they had done some of the like crazier characters that were only toy characters in these first couple of waves, I probably would have been in. What I really want them to do is kind of do closer to what Mattel did with the Masters of the Universe Ultimate line. And that was kind of go back to the original designs and add some of the things that got taken away from the original figures for budgetary reasons. Like specifically, Pizza Face originally had a second head underneath the chef's hat. I want stuff like the second head on Pizza Face under the chef's hat. Like, give me stuff like that, and I'm in on that line. But for now, it's all NECA for me.
Yeah, because it's hard to get, especially when it's made to order, which is very easy. But when it's made to order, if that line is underbought, it's going to be impossible to get those things later for the same price, and those are already expensive toys. So it's kind of it's a safe investment to have it now. I think that's my philosophy with it, because it's like I've already seen that Raphael Super 7, which hasn't officially come out yet. That's hard to get already, I think. So
like maybe if NECA hadn't shown a Metalhead, maybe I would have picked up the Super 7 Metalhead.
I mean, it looks great. It's the same figure, but it's literally HD versions. HD, yeah. Like it feels like you're seeing it back in HD now. Because if you look at it, like if I showed my mom those pictures, which I won't because she doesn't love that I buy so many toys, if I showed her those pictures, I'm sure she would just go, oh yeah, that's that toy I bought you 25 years ago. Because it's so accurate. It's just, I love that they're doing scale, because the picture with Rocksteady and Michelangelo, he's so much taller. I like that a lot. But yeah, I get it from a business standpoint that you got to lead with those turtles. Those things sell the best. Then you can get the wackier stuff. But yeah, throw in one crazy one in those four, the lines of four, or the waves of four, excuse me.
It's kind of like how, like, I don't need another Spider-Man origin movie. Like, I don't need another Batman origin movie. Like, if you're going to reboot one of these superhero franchises, I want to see you go in a different direction with it. And that's kind of what I would have liked from Super 7.
It would have been interesting, too, because there's a lot of different ways. There's a lot of different ways they could probably go about it. Like, there's that famous, and when I say famous, I mean famous for a couple hundred nerds, the cartoon Casey Jones where he has a suit on with the hockey mask and everything, which I'm assuming NECA will just do that variant at a certain point, maybe in a loot crate. But I feel like Super 7 could have done something like that. I know you can't really exchange bodies, but you could do stuff in that vein where it's like, well, this is something from the cartoon that is not represented in the Playmates line, but we've added it to it to really make like sort of the value of the toy go up in the sense that you go, well, this now I can do it. I have an extra level of something. I don't know how to even explain it. It's like, now this gives me more value because it's like what I had as a child, but now I can also do this. I can also show this moment. It's like how Krang, they've talked about Krang from NECA coming with the towel and the soap on a rope from one of the episodes, which is, of course, so great. I hope they can budget that out. But if they did something like that for Super 7, idiots like me would go, it's just like the toy I have, but now he has a towel, and I can have the Krang with a towel. And that's more value. So I have to buy the Krang with the towel. So they can trick me.
What are you doing with the Super 7?
Nothing yet. I'm kind of in the boat of just keeping everything with NECA and the lines that I'm doing, mostly from budgetary reasons. But I will probably go back because when I was a kid, I had all of those figures. And they were in the garage of my house, and a rat got into them and destroyed all of them.
Oh, my God.
So now is a very unique chance to buy the kind of updated versions of my childhood and regain that. But I think it'll be very specific and probably weirder characters. The Mutagen man I really want. And then it's the stuff we talked about. I want to see like them do the sports line, but in the HD version, and the horror monster line and all these other places, because I do now have the 4 movie Turtles and the 4 of the Playmates animated ones from now years ago, and I'll have the video game ones, and I don't know how many of just those 4 Turtles I need. So it is now filling in the gaps of like specific parts of Turtle Time, because even like speaking to the Mutagen tour and another one of the NECA exclusives this year that was the Olympic Gremlin, part of also what I'm loving are capturing these like incredibly specific moments in almost pop culture history, because there's so little record of this tour other than the VHS that I own and now these incredible toys. And it's the same thing with that Olympic Gremlin of, well, this was just an ad. It's not in the movie. It's something unique in this weird cross-section that I just don't think we do anymore. So if Super 7 could do more stuff that's unique in that sense, like if they even pulled the artwork off of what was it called? The Turtles fighting game on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis.
Blake, you're speaking my language here. Turtles Tournament Fighters is one of my favorite games of all time.
It's great.
It's great. I have it downstairs for Super Nintendo still. I don't know why they haven't just like dumped it on a port, like ported it to a new system. I mean, they should do it with all the games, but yeah, that's Armagon is on one of my favorite shark characters. And I've cut you off. You were probably trying to finish a thought, and now I'm just taking over, and I apologize. But like Armagon, which is a shark character from the comics, and I think he was the Archie comics. I think he might have appeared in other series, and and forgive me if he has appeared in a TV show since, and I don't know that. But if they did an Armagon Playmates style with Super 7, now we're talking.
See, that's the kind of stuff that I'm starting to want, to like take those moments and these other moments of the history and like fuse it into that style.
Yes.
Then I'm there.
Now, yes. And it's going to be interesting to see, because I think now we have so many variations. You're going to see where everyone's fandom lies exactly and where their nostalgia lies. Because I've seen already some of the people on all these Facebook groups I follow, the Mondo Gecko NECA pictures came out. And a lot of people went, he looks like shit. And he doesn't look like shit. He looks cool and he looks exactly like the cartoon. But now in their memory hole, he doesn't look like the Playmates toy. So what's like with Bebop and Rocksteady, NECA here with the cartoon designs, those look how you remember Bebop and Rocksteady, I think. Those probably are the definitive versions of them. And the Playmates toys are secondary. But with Mondo Gecko, I believe the Playmates toy is the primary way most people remember him. So I think you're going to see stuff like that now, and you'll see popularity, and you'll be able to see exactly who's such a fan, and a fan of just the Playmates, which, because I think probably a majority of people are just giant fans of the Playmates toys. I think those probably loom the largest, honestly, as far as character designs go.
Now, this is a perfect example where I feel like this is how, with the Mondo Gecko, this is how Super 7 could get me to buy that line. Because I am 100% going to buy the NECA Mondo Gecko.
Yeah.
Because, once again, just like you, I want an animated version of the figure. I feel like it looks like the perfect version of Mondo Gecko. I'm very excited for it. If Super 7 could make the other version of Mondo Gecko, the hippie version that came out later on,
he was part of the Rock and Roll Turtles.
I would be all over that.
And that feels easier to do. Give us 2 or 3 heads. One of the heads has the little John Lennon glasses. Give him a cloth vest. You could do both versions in one pack, and now the value of it skyrockets. And again, it will fool us into buying it. There's ways to fool us. It's not that hard.
Just make things.
Easily fooled. We're easily fooled as weird toy people.
Yeah, it always goes back to that Simpsons episode of but she's got a new hat.
Yes. And it has to be the right kind of hat, but yes, that will fool us.
I want to get back to the tour set since it has dominated all 3 of our lives for the last month.
Yes.
I believe we will always look back on July of 2020 as the month we attempted to get the Mutagen Tour multi-pack from NECA.
I think that when we look back at 2020 in the year, one of the only memories we'll have is this pack coming out. I think we'll our brain, just because it's a traumatic time, our brain will forget what exactly happened in like 10 years. You'll be like, and then in 2020, there was a few things happened, but most importantly, we got the musical Mutagen, aka coming out of Rochelle's tour, and I don't remember much more from that year.
Thank God we did. I feel like we all needed something like this so bad in our lives.
I have pivoted. My brain has pivoted to toys during this time, more so, and I was already some sort of toy collecting freak, but it's really pivoted hard during quarantine to like toys, news of toys, drama, Facebook group drama for toys.
Toy Facebook drama is...
I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And there was so much drama over this set. And I think something we should say, and maybe we should have said this earlier, there was such an uproar online by a lot of idiots, mad that they could not find this and the other NECA stuff, angry because of the pre-sale not going according to plan, just a lot of whining and crying. And
also people before, there was, I feel like, a good 20% of people mad that this existed.
Yeah, there were a lot of people that didn't even want this.
That was the crazy part of it to me, is it got announced, and I could hear Mike Carlson's joy from North Hollywood.
That's right.
I immediately went, I need it. Mm-hmm. I knew Justin needed it. And I was amazed, kind of to Justin's point of the certain nostalgia points on NECA's Twitter of people who were like, this is the dumbest thing I've seen. Why are we doing this? And I was like, no, you don't understand. To love the Turtles.
I actually, when people started saying how dumb it was, I told Mike, we're not going to have a problem getting these.
No.
I don't think people even want them.
Well, yeah, that's not quite the case, but...
turned out not to be the case.
I think it's a perfect exclusive for Comic-Con, though. I really do.
And I always thought these were going to be Comic-Con exclusives. Always. I had faith going back years that eventually these would be made as the perfect Comic-Con exclusives. And I thought it was going to be next year's exclusive. Like, for some reason, it just made sense to me as being next year's exclusive. And then earlier this year, Mike sent a tweet to NECA.
Well, okay, so I looked back. I sent a tweet actually a year prior because a friend of ours suggested it, and I said, you know what, I'm going to tweet it at Randy. And I did, and never responded to that tweet. And apparently there was one other tweet that was not mine before that referencing these as the possibility of toys. But yes, last February I tweeted, and Randy responded and did a real good wrestling kind of move of like, oh, this sucks. Nobody wants this, do they? And obviously he knew what was happening, and he ginned up. There was a huge response of people. Again, it's probably like 80-20, I feel like. People that were like, yes, we need these.
After he responded to that tweet, that made me think, oh, yeah, these are coming at some point. I just didn't think they were coming this soon. And then when Blake and I recorded our Comic-Con panel with Randy, the day before we were recording the panel, Mike texted me and said, you have to ask him about coming out of their shells tour. Mm-hmm. So I asked Randy, and this didn't make it into the actual panel that got posted, but I asked Randy because of Mike asking me. And when I asked Randy about it, he just kind of laughed and said he thought that would make a good exclusive. And the way that he reacted made me immediately think,
was all on the face.
We're getting these.
If we were playing poker, we would have won.
Yeah, we got off the Zoom, and I texted Mike and said, I think these are coming, maybe even this year.
Well, and then I was, this is what's happened during quarantine. I started to become a detective, and I noticed that when he was talking about, I found him talking about the tour, the Coming Out of Our Shells tour a couple months ago, and he described it as a time and place. There was some very specific words he used. And then when he was talking about what the exclusive was, he used the exact same words to describe whatever the exclusive was. So he was describing the tour exactly like the exclusive. And then I started texting evidence to anyone who would listen to me, again, like some crazy person. And I was like, yes, for sure, you're right. Absolutely.
And then I think it was a couple of weeks later that it was posted.
Yeah.
That it was happening.
Right. I remember getting up to go to the bathroom at 8 a.m. or something, and it was like, I think you had texted me already.
I was still up.
Sure.
So then we got these fair and square, you know. We did the work. We went out and we found these. First, Mike, you got one at the actual on sale on the website.
I beat the bots single-handedly.
So explain real quick what's happening with the bots.
Well, so what's happening is now you know, Turtle Mania is sweeping a select group of Americans and people overseas. I assume it might be like 10,000 people. So it's like it's you know, buying tickets mania when they announce a new product is going up on pre-sale. And now they're doing these through Target and Walmart. They're doing movie line through Walmart. They're doing cartoon line through Target. So when they say, yeah, it's going up around 1 p.m., be ready at your computers, it's insane. It's like, I assume, like buying any popular concert ticket. I mean, it feels like to me, I'm a ticket buyer from way back. I pride myself on being able to get stuff fast. I mean, it started back whenever they put Bebop and Rocksteady up, and I don't even remember the details of that sale. And I got shut out. And I ended up finding those at Target 10, 15 minutes from here. But Casey and Raphael went up on Walmart. And, I mean, it was a shit show. I couldn't believe how hard it was. I didn't get them. They were out of stock in seconds probably. And the same thing went for Casey, the cartoon, Casey and the Foot. Where it was just like I was just locked out immediately. Clicking, I refreshed because you go Command R on your computer on your Mac. You refresh the page until it's on sale, and it's not precise like concert tickets with this stuff. They sometimes go up 15 minutes. So you're sitting there like an idiot for 15 minutes hitting Command R. And then finally it went up, and then it's immediately sold out. And then Metalhead also went up for sale that same day. And I was like, this sucks. This is crazy.
And even though we all missed all of those, naively, at this point, I was still thinking, well, those are the cartoon and movie turtles. Those are $50 sets. Way more people are after those. I'm sure we'll still be able to log in and get these concert turtles. No problem.
Right. Yes. And I told you, I remember there's a log of this, and I was picking up groceries, and I said, I think the problem now is just that the bots are so aggressive that they're just going to buy up all the stock, regardless of even what it is. And I think that's what's happening. I mean, I assume there's some humans getting it, but it seems like humans are few and far between when you look at these Facebook groups. I do have a tip, I think, for getting them that I'm going to try next time whenever I guess it's in like 5 days when April goes up. I assume it's April next, and then it'll be Slash and Leatherhead in 2 weeks. That's my guess. Super Shredder is coming soon, too.
Yeah.
And that's going to be tougher. But you know what? I'll say it. I'll give the list. Here's what I think. Here's what happened with Musical Mutagen. I'm ready. That thing went up 45 minutes after they said it would about. And I said roughly it'll go on sale 1 o'clock or whatever. I think it went on sale like 1:45.
Yeah.
So I have my phone out. I do this with concert tickets too. I have my computer out and I have my phone out. I'm refreshing both like a crazy person. And finally, it's in stock. And I get it into the computer first. So I get it into the cart. I get it in. I'm loading, blah, blah, blah. Sold out. Now, what my savior was that there were 5 different SKUs because they were only selling them with the shirt and the other merch this time. So the bots couldn't maybe get all 5 at once. On my phone, I had the medium loaded. I did the medium load. And what Target does, and I know this is a video, so listen very closely, Target app has Apple Pay. And what Apple Pay does is that Apple Pay loads all your info very quickly into the system. So all you really have to do is go to the cart, check out Apple Pay. It loads your shipping address, your billing address, the credit card, and immediately makes the transaction. So I grabbed my phone, I did it, Apple Pay, got a Musical Mutagen right before it sold out. Sold out in seconds.
I don't know, like, because my app is tied to my Target card. So, like, I felt like that would have been the same deal.
I don't think so, though, because I think still Target card, and I don't know this for sure, Target card still makes you go through the normal hoops of confirm this, confirm this, confirm this. There's like 3 steps versus Apple Pay, which is 1 step. So I'm going to test it out with April, which is in 5 days. Believe me, I'm already stressed about it. April is, my history with April and toys is that she was the hardest one I ever had to find. And the day I found her, we'll just live. I'll talk about it on my deathbed. I think I'll be
April from when we were kids.
100. Yeah, April from when we were kids. It'll be 120, and I'll be like, the greatest moment of my life was being at a venture store on a Wednesday and finding April on an end cap in one of the checkout lines. The greatest thrill of my life.
Well, speaking of finding things in stores, that is how Blake and myself got the Mutagen for Turtles.
Justin, let's be clear. It's how you found it.
He's being modest.
You called me in such a what sounded like panic late enough at night that I went, Justin's stuck somewhere and needs help.
Blake, it was a mix of panic, euphoria, fear, joy. Every emotion was running through my body. I haven't felt anything like it in a long time. So I should not be going out to stores. I am immune compromised. I am in one of the key demographics for getting COVID, and we live in an area where COVID is absolutely out of control. So I should not be going to stores. I haven't been going to stores. I caved and went to a few stores. Overall, I think in the week I went to 4 different targets. I went to what I felt were like the safest targets, like the targets with the fewest people, and the targets that had like different ways in and out. Like there's a 2-story Target in Van Nuys where you can park on the 2nd story and the entrance is right by the electronic department. So I was going to stores like that where I could pop in and out. And like my mom called me while I was in one of the stores and asked what I was doing, and I said I was at the store. And she was like, I can't believe you're still doing this in the middle of all of this. And this is after like me spending months telling my mom to stay inside and not go to stores. She catches me going to a store.
I was thinking, I was going, okay, if you don't get it on a pre-sale, are you going to go? Because I haven't been going to stores at all. I've been very cautious. I haven't seen a single person, like socially, other than just very briefly to pick something up or drop something off.
I had accepted that if I didn't get it online, I never was. I had accepted that the same way I have accepted COVID as just part of my life, because I'm not leaving much, if at all. I think going to Justin's to get these toys was my first leaving the apartment since May.
And I had accepted that too. And I haven't been leaving at all. I leave once a week to do a grocery shopping, and that's it. But I think it was a combination. And I had told both of you guys I wasn't going to go out looking for it.
And you also called me in a state of euphoria or fear as well that night.
Yeah, so I'll get to that in a second.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's been so hard not going out looking for toys these last couple of months because I have all the time in the world since I'm not working. And it makes me so happy to drive around looking for toys and not being able to do it. So I think the combination of that buildup of not being able to do it mixed with I've been watching a lot of like toy hunting videos online. Like I thought that would help me like not want to go out, but that made me want to go out more. Then you mix that with like how hard these concert sets are to find and how badly I've wanted this to be made for 20 years. Plus all the other toys that are out right now. It's been, I literally cannot remember the last time that there's been this many figures out that I have wanted. Between the NECA Turtles and the new WWE and the retro Spider-Man, like there's tons of stuff out that I want. I think that all kind of boiled over. So I went to a couple of stores. After talking to my mom, I decided that was it. I wasn't going to go to any more stores. And then a couple hours later, I was out to run an errand, and there was a Target right next door to where I was, and I popped in, and I went around to the back, the electronic department, and there were 2 giant boxes labeled NECA on a U-boat sitting in front of the NECA section. And I opened up the first box, and there were 3 KC 2-packs. And I opened up the next box, and I saw one of these Mutant tours, and then realized, like, I don't have the money for this. Like, who needs what? And the store was closing. I had 10 minutes before the store closed. And yeah, it was just like I got a rush from finding all these toys, and like they had everything. The boxes were just packed of like every NECA thing that everyone's looking for. It was crazy. So I'm trying to figure out like, oh, who still needs the tour pack? Who still needs the KC? There were gremlins. Like, does Joan need this gremlin? And I had 10 minutes and I didn't have any money. So yeah, I called both of you in a panic.
Yes, you called me in a panic, and I was immediately like, okay, do I need to go to the ATM? Because I already had the Mutant tour, but NECA Casey, and also we have a friend who I was like, okay, I got to get these for that person. And so I was like, all right, I guess I can go to an ATM. I can meet you out in the Target and I'll just slide it through the window, some cash. But then we figured out a different way to do it.
And I was concerned, like, are they going to limit me? Like, when I go up to the register, are they going to be like, you can't buy everything?
Right. And it was, I mean, yes, it was. I was thrilled for you. And then this is the mind of a maniac. I was immediately upset that they didn't have Metalhead. I was like so excited for you, and then I'm like, well, do they have Metalhead? And you're like, I'm looking, I don't think they. And I'm like, oh, I hope he's looking good enough. I hope he's not. Which of course, like, you know what you're doing. But I remember getting off the phone and being like dissatisfied that you had risked your life to find the toy. It's like, but then it was the Metalhead.
No,
you didn't go to the right Target.
Fear, because look, the time was running out. They were boxes the size of me. Like, I didn't want to make a mess for the employees, so I didn't want to like throw stuff out of the box.
And to be, I thought about it and I didn't, and I was like, is this going to be insulting? I was like, do you know what it looks like though? You know what his box looks like? Because I'll describe it again for you.
Do you know Metalhead?
Blue. Right. Do you know his origin? I wanted to explain that to you as well.
I was like, I gotta get off the phone. I gotta get off the phone. And then I called Blake, and it was like, send me money. I found them. Send me money. And I thought I had miscounted the Casey's and thought there was enough Casey's for Blake, and there wasn't, because there were less Casey's than there were the tour pack.
Right.
So yeah, everyone started sending me money, and I was pouring down sweat. The central air is off in these stores because you can't run it because of the virus. So it's very hot in there, and they're making the announcement that they're turning the registers off. Mm-hmm. And I'm worried they're going to limit me. But yeah, I went up to the self checkout. All the employees were concerned with was that I was getting out of there because they wanted to close. They didn't care that I had $1,000 in toys in the cart. And yeah, it was a joyous moment. I can't imagine the rest of 2020 will be this happy, but they're here. They've been made, they've been released, they've been purchased. I'm ecstatic.
So, Justin,
and
people,
I'm done going out to stores.
Yeah.
That was it. Now that we've gotten what we thought was the holy grail of Turtles and the Mutagen tour, what do you want to see next from these companies?
Well, other than, from these Turtle-wise, other than a Ted Baxter toy from the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Let's stick with Turtles, we know.
Stick with Turtles. I think that there's two things. Okay, I'll start with my less wanted thing. Two things. I want movie versions of classic characters in the NECA style. So, as if the 1990s, they had made a movie with Krang, if they had made a movie with the Rat King. I see Blake is cheering. He's correct. He acknowledges this is a good idea. And I think, honestly, this idea probably is more sellable maybe than my actual number one thing I want. So I would love it if they got like a likeness for a 90s actor who would have played Rat King in the early 90s. Is it Michael Madsen? Is it a Tom? Oh, that guy's canceled. I can't say his name.
I think Nicolas Cage would have been a good Rat King.
Nicolas Cage would have been a perfect Rat King. If you can get his likeness rights, let's make a Nicolas Cage Rat King in the style of that 1990s movie. People who are around that might have done production art, get them involved. You probably don't need that. That's probably too much money. But anyway, the designers they have could do something like that. I would love
it. Bebop and Rocksteady, definitely. I can't deny Muppety Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yes. That is because as a kid, I liked those movies a lot, but it always left something to be desired because I knew how expansive the Turtles universe was. And we only got a little piece of it. So I always dreamed that Krang would be in one of these things.
Garbage Pail Kids movie.
Right. Now, look, I've been on a mission for years now to be involved creatively somehow. And there's been rumors of some sort of retro-y Netflix show, but I think some of those are fake. Some of those rumors are fake. We've heard many different types of shows coming out. I think there's still a chance for them to do a retro Henson suit, something. And now I know they're doing a CGI Seth Rogen movie, and That's fine. I'll enjoy that. But I do think there's a lot of unfulfilled promise from the 90s. There's an ultimate version of that that I need to be involved in for sure.
This movie?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
All 4 turtles?
He might be all 4 turtles. They all have the same voice. I'm not sure. They haven't announced the details yet. So, yes. So I think a full fantasy movie line is a dream for me. Number 1, though, is my favorite definitive Ninja Turtles run is the Archie Comics Ninja Turtles run. And I think they're more in the last couple of years I've realized people I know read these because it's not a mainstream thing. It's down the list, I think, when people talk about Turtles. But I've noticed like your Pixel Dans, your specific type of nerds have a lot of affection. And that comic was always what I thought was the real Ninja Turtles, more so than the cartoon, which I really liked. I was reading that comic and I went, "Oh, this is actually what's happening with the Ninja Turtles." And they had a lot of characters like Armagon and like Cuddly the Cowlick and Stump, who was like Don King as a tree, who got the Turtles involved in intergalactic wrestling. And Raphael had a black costume, which is not unlike Spider-Man's symbiote blood costume. I want wrestling turtles. I want Stump. I want Cuddly the Cowlick. I want Armagon. There's, the Mighty Mutanimals, which was a spin-off, who ultimately got brutally murdered, which traumatized me as a child. I didn't know that could happen to main characters. I don't want the figures to be like full of bullet holes or anything, but I want those characters. I mean, it was Mono Gecko, and then these are characters that'll be in the other lines, Wingnut and Screwloose. Not Dreadmon, though. That was a character that was never made. Ninjara, Raphael's girlfriend, Ninjara, who was a cool Ninja Fox lady. I'd like a toy of her. So there's a whole range of characters from this comic that were never made. That I would accept them just being made in the style of any of these other things, Super 7 or otherwise. But the dream is a fully in the style of Dean Clare, or what's the guy's? Chris Allen is the guy who drew Ninja Turtles. Fully in that style is my dream. And both Flynn and Randy have kind of alluded that it's possible. And I don't know how deep they're thinking, but more and more, again, this coming out of our shells exists. My reality now is such that I think it's possible that we get something like this.
Do you think we'll ever again see another coming out of their shells tour?
I think the time is right.
Tour on the horizon.
That is a good question. I think that's possible. Here's the thing with Turtles. Right now, I think NECA and probably Super 7 will see it soon too. I think that they underestimated how much love a certain section of nerds, and are they on the older side like us? Yes. They underestimated how popular Turtles still is in these types of Turtles. I don't think they've yet to tap into it in any new other. Maybe the second to last Turtles is the closest they've come, the CGI series. And I've seen some of the animation on the newer cartoon is cool, and I like it. But I do think there's a way in. There's an ultimate version of Turtles that can scratch all the itches, that also can include something like coming out of our shells again. It has to sort of become a little bit more of a phenomenon, though. And maybe it's movie. Maybe it has to be a movie. Maybe it has to be Turtles is so popular because of a specific movie that gets popular again. And then you can justify the startup costs for touring for men running around in suits. But I think it's possible. I don't think whoever owns it now, is it Nickelodeon? Yeah, Nickelodeon owns it. I don't think Nickelodeon has fully tapped into the right thing to make Turtles a phenomenon with kids again, which is what probably needs to happen.
I also just don't know how often we really do these giant pop culture phenomenons the same way. Like, it was Turtles then, and then when I was like 10 or 11, it was Power Rangers had tours and was on ice, and Pokemon was bigger than anything. And I'm 31 now, so maybe I'm just out of the zeitgeist, but I can't think of anything else that's on that scale. But I don't see why Nickelodeon couldn't bring a Turtles Out of the Shell tour to like a theme park on a smaller scale. But I don't know if it ever would be global.
Well, I think, smaller versions, like you're saying, would probably end up making some sense. You would get a small version, cheaper version at a theme park. But that's why I'm saying they would have to kind of make it again like a true phenomenon. And they
could just do like a small acoustic video for.
Right, yes. Just the four unplugged, just the four of them unplugged. Just playing acoustic. Yeah. I think, I could see them playing at Comic-Con. I could see stuff like that happening. But I think it'll have to be specific. There's one of my favorite comics is Grant Morrison's run on Batman. And it lasted like 7 years, and it incorporated everything about Batman. 60s silly Batman, crazy Frank Miller Batman. It's all sort of Batman rolled into one. And there's a version of Turtles that allows that. And if it's good enough, I believe it will be insanely popular, and maybe popular enough to actually tour much like this. I don't know if anything will come close to the original Turtle Mania, but I can't imagine a world where there's a movie where the Turtles look like the Henson, and it's like really well written. It's got a lot of crazy characters where like there's not like an extra thing in the air where you go see it and it's like kids and insane people like us. There's a version, I can see it. I can feel it in my mind what it is.
It's out there. It just has to happen.
But it's like, I've been begging to have a meeting with any of these people. And it's like, I'm going to seem like a crazy person because I'm like, I'll bring in there's Archie Comics. They had the Ninja Turtle source books. Do you remember these?
Yeah.
Which are like the guide to the Marvel Universe. Just books with characters that no one's ever heard of. And I'm like, you don't understand what you have here. You're waving it at someone.
Well, it'll be like when Sony didn't buy all the Marvel characters. They only bought Spider-Man and X-Men.
Right.
And you'll be the one who's like, no, we can make the other characters work.
What about Maligna, the alien bug woman? You don't even know about her.
Night Watcher movie. You don't understand. It's perfect.
Yes. Maligna, by the way, would be a great figure. Google Maligna if you don't know what she looks like. Very creepy. Scared the shit out of me.
Where can people find you and Podcast The Ride?
Podcast The Ride at Twitter, Instagram, all your podcasts are found. Apple Podcasts, you can just search Podcast The Ride. I am on Twitter, PHAT Carlson. That's basically it. Other than that, you'll find me on toy Reddits and Facebook groups. I don't post, though. I'm not a poster. I'm a lurker. Although I've come dangerously close to posting. But
you could say you're coming out of your shell?
I could say that. I will say that if I start posting. I'm coming out of my shell also.
It's all right. I've been lurking on those boards for like 25 years.
I just don't.
Maybe once a year.
Yeah, I just don't want to get into a fight with people because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start arguing about something. I mean, like,
you got to keep it positive.
Those 20% of Turtle fans that are like, this is an abomination that's coming out of our shell set. I'm like, I don't want to meet you. If you're a Turtle fan who thinks the integrity of the Turtles has been compromised by this ridiculous musical extravaganza, I don't want to meet you. I'm not interested in it. We have a different understanding of the Ninja Turtles. Like, you think it's serious.
I have nothing in common with someone who is pretty, like, Ninja Turtle. Like, if they want to, I'm not into, like, Ninja Turtles who kill people and are in pain when they mutate and like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some of that's good, and I like the first movie a lot, and I like all the different versions of Turtles, but it's like, I'm not mad at somebody if they don't want to buy this, but I'm mad at people because there's people that are just like, this is ridiculous. why would you waste time? We need, and then they would list whatever their dreams are. And then the same
They're
people
also still, just toys. You don't have to buy them.
There's also people that draw this like hard line where it's like, yeah, the first two movies, but that third movie, no way. That is just a terrible movie. And I was like, I don't. What are we doing here? And Secret of the Ooze I love, but it's not high art compared to Turtles 3. Turtles 3 is
it's basically
shit.
just a Domino's ad for 90 minutes. The opening, you'd think that they would have invented pizza at the end of the first movie, the way everyone's devouring it with the longest cheese ever.
Yeah, I mean, look, it looks good. I honestly want a pizza. I'm thinking about
Every time
ordering
I see
a Pizza Hut.
Yeah, I'm now thinking about getting some pizza.
Pizza Hut right over here, and I got a text alert saying Pizza Hut $8.99 for a large. I was like,
oh, it's not how many toppings?
There you go.
I think it's 3 toppings.
That's not bad.
I'll look at it. Well, hold on, I can look at it. This isn't that good of content. Wait, no, it's $9.99. Go heavy on the toppings with a $9.99 large pizza, and it doesn't say how many. I'll click on it.
But it does say to go heavy on the top.
$9.99. That is not bad.
Right, and they'll bring it out to your car. So Turtles 3, I remember somebody going, what's next? The Samurai Turtles from Ninja Turtles 3? And then a bunch of people were like, hell yeah, let's do it.
I bet you that's the 4-pack for Comic-Con next year.
Randy seems, though, anti-3 too, but he likes to play it up sometimes.
You don't think they'll just make a set where they can't use their weapons like in Secret of the Ooze? You just can't get them out of there?
It's possible.
Or Vanilla Ice? That's what I want.
Well, okay, and Vanilla Ice.
I think they'll make Vanilla Ice.
I think that'll come around. Well, they'll make Vanilla Ice. I want David Warner, scientist from Secret of the Ooze. I want Casey Jones and the guy he plays in Japan. Elias plays, I forget the character's name. He plays a different character when they go back in time to feudal Japan. I want all of that stuff. But yeah, Samurai Turtles, even regardless of if they think that movie is bad, Samurai Turtles will look cool.
Yeah, of course.
So that's a no-brainer at a certain point, I think.
Yeah, I think it's happening.
But
if that doesn't happen next Comic-Con, what do you guys think the next Comic-Con exclusive will be, Turtle-wise, for next?
Very good question. It is 3 toppings for $9.99 for Pizza Hut.
Okay.
I mean, Vanilla Ice would be my bet for the next exclusive. So they usually do like the bigger 4-packs for then.
Yeah, they usually do a big pack.
That's precedent. I mean, I could also see if we're all back together next year at Comic-Con, I could see them expanding and doing a Vanilla Ice in addition to a 4-pack. Especially with how well Turtles is selling.
I was going to say, I could see them doing the Mutagens again just because they didn't get to do it at Comic-Con this year.
Well, I texted Justin. I go, is there a scenario where we get the Mutagen pack with April, Baxter Stockman, the hilarious, like, Caddy Shredder, and, like, a Pizza Man, Splinter, the Skipping Stone Splinter. And
go ahead.
Dave Rubrek, the host of Supermarket Sweep, who appears on the official VHS as a news reporter. Again, that's another Holy Grail figure, Dave Rubrek.
Dave Rubrek, period, is a Holy Grail figure.
Right.
I was suggesting you do that with 2-pack, where you re-release each one of the Turtles from the packaging with a different side character.
Right, which will trick us into having to buy it. But that Shredder,
Dave Brubeck.
The Shredder, that Shredder costume is so silly looking. I love it. And honestly, I kind of like the Splinter. The Splinter, it's a very cute Splinter in the Coming Out of Our Shells. He's much like softer than the movie one.
They put 15 random episodes of Supermarket Sweep on Netflix a couple weeks ago, and I watched them all in one night.
Oh, we've been watching them. Don't worry. We watch A Floor is Lava.
Bootleg episodes on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. We watch A Floor is Lava, then we watch a Supermarket Sweep.
Like to remember Supermarket Sweep? Is this too
of course
old of... I can never tell.
Of course I do. It was reruns mostly, but it was on. I feel like for some reason it was on like right before all the old Nickelodeon game shows that I watched. Like I remember watching Supermarket Sweep and then just watching Double Dare and Guts and Figure It Out and everything else. I don't know if I was flipping channels or if they just had it there for some reason.
Yeah. It's The game, there's not much to the game. I know they're bringing it back, but I think for a lot of us, there's something in our brains, or especially our kid brains, that love the idea of running fast through a place you're not supposed to run fast through and just clearing the shelves. It's the same thing when you would go see when you would see the kids, the KB Toys Nickelodeon contests, where a kid would get 2 minutes to clear the shelf. And I guess they did it at Toys R Us too, and it would just be
the Super Toy Run.
Super Toy Run. God, if there that and the make your own room contest, where they give you like $5,000 to make your dream room. I spent so much energy imagining that happening. So Supermarket Sweep, it's nice to have it back. And yes, please, Randy, Dave Rubrek figure. That's what we all need. If you could give him a shopping cart too, just so a little nod to it. But yeah. Next year's exclusive. Yeah, it's a good question. They seem to be sticking with specifically the core 8 or so far. So Samurai Turtle makes sense. But I mean, if they really resculpt and do like Archie versions, you could see that being the case too, because I think those probably still sell pretty well at Comic-Con, because I'm sure that's the audience for them. But,
Mike, thank you so much for coming on again. Congratulations on all of your NECA Turtle findings.
Thanks, and to you as well. Thank you. I got you, Bebop and Rocksteady, and then you got Casey Jones for me. So that's
what happens when you help people find toys. Don't go on Twitter. Don't go in your group and bitch and moan about not being able to get this stuff.
Right.
Go find them and help people.
Find other weirdos your age that are going out and looking for this stuff. That's very important with this hobby, with this obsession, this disease.
Blake, where can people find us?
People can leave us a review on iTunes or on Spotify and Google Podcasts and wherever else iTunes podcast reviews are acceptable. They can then follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/HowDoYouFigurePodcast. We're on Twitter at HowDoYouFigurePC, on Instagram at HowDoYouFigurePodcast, and I believe that is that.
And you can now see the video version on.
There you go.